This is Sergeant Brandon Mendoza, February 12, 1982 to May 12, 2014. He was 32 years old. The most amazing son, dearly loved brother, beloved uncle and grandson. Your life had an impact on everyone you met and loved. This man was killed by a drunk driver driving on the wrong side of the road. He was killed by a man who was not supposed to be here. He was an undocumented immigrant, an illegal alien, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what politically correct term you want to use. He was not supposed to be here, and he took this man's life. I am not a fan of the police by any stretch of the imagination. I am not at this man's grave because he is an officer. I'm at this man's grave because he was a human being. He had a life. People loved him and he loved them. And this man's life was tragically taken by somebody, again, who was not supposed to be here, who was previously convicted of crimes that should have had him deported, but he was still here, was never deported, and he killed this man. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. You have to be on the right side when it comes to human life. And a lot of you scumbags out there that'll tell me, oh, well, he could have, it doesn't matter if the guy was illegal, he killed him. Well, listen, let me explain something to you, because a lot of you people out there are brain dead, and I need to preach to you sometimes to kind of understand what being correct and incorrect is, and having common sense. We have enough scumbags in this country that were born here that commit crimes and kill people that I personally would love to deport back to some godforsaken piece of rock somewhere in the South Pacific. I see a lot of graves of people being murdered, tragically dying in car accidents, and of diseases. But when I see graves of people who should not have been killed, especially something that should have been taken care of 20 years ago, but it's not, because our politicians want illegal aliens here for cheap labor to pay into the Ponzi scheme called Social Security. I'm not trying to really turn this into a political debate, but this man is never coming home ever again. I don't care what book you read. I don't care if it's the Torah, the Quran, or the Bible. And I don't care what version of the Bible you're reading. This man, as far as I'm concerned, until you've been to the edge and come back and tell me what it's like on the other side, he is not coming back. And his kids and his parents, they're not going to see him ever again. It comes down to common decency and respect for human life, which a lot of you do not have. I'm not advocating for millions of people to be deported. I'm advocating that if you're not supposed to be here and you have a criminal record, you got to get out. You got to go. You got to leave. We don't want you here. We got enough of our own American-born idiots. We don't need to import any more. We don't. And when I see stuff like this, it angers me. And you idiots, especially you idiots on the left, do not understand. What if this man were your brother? What if he were your dad, your uncle, your son, your cousin, your nephew? What if it were you? What would you want done? Sometimes you gotta take your self-righteous, virtue-signaling finger and stick it right where the sun doesn't shine. Put yourself in other people's positions and put yourself in other people's shoes.